All right, everybody. It is Sunday, May 8th, 2022. And here we are looking at crude oil. We'll see what happens at the open. But just a quick view from the daily chart, zoomed out a bit. You know, you recognize these levels because we talk about them every week. 92, 93 to the downside. Call it 109 to the upside. Uh, you can see what's happened is we're poking above this resistance here. And the next major resistance above that would be up in this region 116. So this is, I mean, it looks bullish, right? You could argue this is a 1-2 right here, but we'll see about that. Just taking it level by level. Another thing to observe from a technical perspective on this daily chart is this squeeze down here. A daily squeeze. This one looks legit. It's already let go to the long side. It doesn't mean price can't come back. It just means that the odds suggest that this will give you some more upside. That's all it is. Just suggests that. Doesn't mean that it will happen because squeezes, they do weird things. Sometimes this could come up and who knows, maybe it's going to reverse right here and come all the way down here for a wave two. I mean, anything could happen. But just the way this looks, you got the MACD that crossed over here right at the same time that there's a long squeeze firing long, at the same time that the RSI has gotten above that average. That yellow line is an EMA. That's just another clue. So, if you just look at these as clues, they suggest that we've got upside momentum and we're going to go higher. Okay, so that's the daily view. Then we zoom down one level and let's get into some Elliott wave. So if this really is a 1-2, you have to forgive my chart because I got a ton of stuff on here because this is like my work chart. But if this is a 1-2, then we've started another impulse. I find it remarkable that we made it through this resistance of this pivot, which is of a larger degree. If this is a 1-2, which who knows? But if it is a 1-2, then this is the pivot zone for that 1-2. And, maybe this is another 1-2. And then another, it could be a series of nested 1-2s. But without getting into that, just keeping it really simple, this was an area that could be a pivot and also act as resistance. This is clearly a resistance level. Well, price got not only to get through this pivot of a larger degree, but it made it above this resistance level. So, okay, fine. So, I see another resistance level just at the top here, which kind of coincides almost with the top of these waves here. But the way I'm measuring, it really depends on where you want to measure this from. Now, this chart is a homework chart, so I've got all kinds of different measurements on here. Maybe that's not so helpful to folks if you don't really know what you're looking at. So just to keep it really simple, this is the most bullish thing that I can come up with, is that if this is a 1-2, then it projects roughly to here, which also coincides if this is a larger 1-2, which is doubtful. Okay, forget I just said that. This is an area that has proven to be resistance before. And it's an area that price can interact with. So if you just want to keep it super duper simple, if I project this up into here, this would be a reasonable place if this is going to play bullishly for a wave 3 to run out of gas. I mean, if it even makes it, first it would have to get through this resistance, because regardless of how I'm counting this, just looking at these levels, that can be very helpful too. Like even if Elliott wave may or may not follow, it's just complicated in here. There's a lot of overlap. The whole region is kind of a giant corrective overlapping mess. I mean, if you just want to back up a step and look at this, it's just swinging wildly within this range, But at the moment, it poked above there, so it's made a new high, and that's what you can see here. So if it makes it above 113.59, that'd be amazing. And if it can actually make it up for that wave 3, that would also be quite remarkable. And now if I zoom in a little bit more and look at this structure, right? So I'm going to zoom in one level and look at this internal structure right here. And that's what this is. So perhaps this is another 1-2 3. Very nice target for 3 at the 1618. Pulled back to perfection to this pivot. And that, but the thing is, this is really janky looking. It's very, it doesn't look like a standard impulse, right? And so perhaps it's a diagonal. I mean, it already came down. It's overlapping, depending on where. I don't want to get in the weeds of Elliott wave, but the most bullish thing that I could think of is that if this is a 3 and this is a 4, then the 5 would come up into this red box early in the week right here. Call it 113.19. Now, all I'm doing, I've already got a long trade on. You can see my other videos for that. And this is where the stop is right now, 108.15. I'm going to leave it there. And if I'm lucky enough to get back in front of the screen for the open, I'll just watch what happens at the open. But and I'll move the stop up. If this can get up above, if this can make a new high, absolutely I'm moving my stop up to right here. Right to, what is that? Bottom of that candle is 108.99. So I moved my stop up almost another $1. So that's just what I'm going to do. And if it starts coming back down, we'll see. But I don't want to see it come back down below this zone. If it's going to continue a bullish structure, I mean, can it come back below this zone and then keep going higher? I mean, of course, it could do anything. But I would prefer that it hold, make a higher low, and then make another high. Doesn't even have to make a higher low. It already made a higher low. It could just keep going at the open. I have no idea. But let's just, okay, for more clues on that, if I look at this, it held the 50% zone. We'll call it a Darvis box. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so this entire range, you just put a box around it. Note, sometimes you divide it in quadrants. Sometimes you divide it in half. Price came back down, held the top half of that box, and then kept going higher. Now it's made a new high. Right above 109. So, and there's a daily squeeze. So I really don't have any reason to think it's going to just immediately crap out and come down. In fact, it's just the opposite. I mean, from what I'm seeing, this can continue higher. What's really cool too is using the strat. You got an inside candle on the 4-hour. That's pretty cool because it's either gonna come down and make a new low below the 50%, which we just talked about, this level, or it's going to make a new high. So above 1011 something, it's more likely that you're going to see 113 in the way I'm thinking about it. Okay, so not a whole lot to say on strat because really it's about trade management because I've already done all the painstaking work of getting this entry. And now it's just a question of when to move stops and without being too aggressive so you don't want to get stopped and then it keeps going higher, but at the same time you don't want to give back too much. So for the moment, my stop is going to stay there. So the main thing I'll leave you with is the daily chart. You got a daily squeeze. The weekly is bullish. The monthly is bullish. The daily is bullish. And the 4-hour, here, I'll leave you with this. So for clues, just look, you see a 3 with an inside candle on any time frame. This is strat speak now. Put a box around the range of that 3-hour candle. And that's going to be your next clue. Is if this 1 hour, this inside candle the first candle that it's going to, at the open, is going to form a new candle. So that may be a green candle, actually. Who knows? It might even gap up at the open. I have no idea. But the point is, you don't want to see it below this candle, and you do want to see it get above the top of that candle, which is 111.18. If you see it above 111.18, I think it's much more likely that you're going to go up into this zone. Call it 113. Cool. All right. So I don't have much to say other than that. And, I can't really help. I can't really help you. If you're looking for an entry, you're really late to the party. But, the strat always provides a new opportunity for an entry with every candle. So look, you're going to open with a new 15-minute candle. You're going to open with a new 5-minute candle. So just real simple terms, if it breaks the high of this candle, that's where you can add. Or if you're playing the 15-minute chart, same thing. At the top of that 15-minute candle, that's where you could add. And you would put the stop, depending on which time frame you're trading, you put the stop on that same candle that you make the entry. You put your stop at the bottom of that candle. So anyway, all right, guys, that's it. Good luck. See ya.